Sweet. All right, so last week we talked about the 4Ds. Let me share my screen. And everything's gonna stem from this, like the 4Ds, right? So if you guys weren't on last time, so we talked about the 4Ds. So 4Ds, and that's still can't spell. Downside, divorce. So these are the constant. These are going to be constant across the board. These are what I always go back to, in terms of this. So, again, death is where estate sales come for, garage sales, and a lot of like estate liquidation. Obviously, estates, trust lawyers, and trust as well, like family trust, disaster. Damn, my spelling is wrong. I hope that's right. So disaster as like car accidents, something like along those lines. Floods are a big one. I know my dad got a lot of boats with floods. He picked up like there's a lot of flooded boats. Quick fix on some of the on some of the like inner workings. Usually like electrical goes down. Flood things I usually try to stay away from across the board, just because flood becomes very very difficult. Try to stay away from flood. Downsize and divorce. Honestly, my the ones I usually go to, I want to say favorites because it's kind of like super morbid, but my two things I usually go towards is a downsize and death. Those are usually the ones that have a lot of product that comes out. Because usually people don't liquidate again. Usually people don't liquidate product unless there's actually a reason to liquidate product. No one cleans out their closet just to clean out their closet. Normally, at least. Obviously, some people do. And these are kind of like the ways that you can go after, or try to get the liquidated product. Again, all we're trying to do is give a client the best results possible. That's kind of like the overarching mission, right? If that's on commission, there's two ways to do it: commission, and buyout. Commission is going to be really good for higher end products. I like commission. You guys can obviously check out my old website. Now. And then in buyout, you're going to take the top five items, and you're going to make a margin on these items. Margin on items. You make a margin on these items and buy the rest out. Let me meet the person. They're going to buy the rest out. Cool. Cool. So a lot of people are interested in this week going over how to reach out to people, and this is kind of like. So again, these are like the concepts we talked about last time, and these are going to be what we're going to be using each time that we're going to go down this, and we're going to start reaching out to these people. So whatever vertical that you're in, I know Shelby was saying that she talked to a estate sale. Estate sales are difficult to get rid of clothing. You can pick them up for pennies on the dollar. So what I would do for like along those lines, let's kind of go with Shelby's example last week. So she was saying that she has an estate sale that has a lot of product that so Shelby does clothing. There's a lot of product with this clothing. I would make a doc with like a clothing buyout, and I would just do blanket prices. Their stuff's so cheap, and it's at the end of the sale. You want to go to the end of the sale because there's like a lot of product that doesn't move. Product that doesn't move usually is furniture, clothing, and tchotchkes.
You'll be calling to the COVID looking motherfucker.
Okay. Let's mute that first. So yeah, there's a couple of things that aren't that don't move very well. So with this stuff, I would have Shelby do a basic quote for these things. If it's like $1 a shirt, and you want to take at all as much as you possibly can, they're gonna. So these people that want to get rid of products, like when I was doing estates, I want to get rid of it all. I don't want to touch it anymore. There's two ways you can do it. You can do per piece. Per piece becomes a little bit harder to like. You're gonna get a bunch of junk. As long as you buy it cheap enough, you're gonna be fine. Per piece, full buyouts, full buyouts. So what I've seen in the past is like they do like $1 for shoes, and like again, you're looking at dirt cheap price. $1 for shirts, $3 for jackets. Oops. $1 for shoes, jackets. In the accessories, this is where you're gonna find a lot of the best stuff. $1 for accessories. These are kind of what you're gonna find the best. So I'd give the people a blanket price, and see what they come back with, right? Like, I'll buy this all out, or you can go in there and be like, at the end of the sale, you always want to target the end of the sale. Like, I'll buy this all out for $50, $60, whatever it may be. Because again, our margin gets made as resellers on obviously digitizing it and putting it up online, right? That's the core concept we keep talking about across the board. So make this work for you. Again, you want to be able to take everything. That's why the full buyout is going to be usually the best, because you can actually say like, okay, there's a lot of garbage here. I don't want it all. I don't want it all, but I need to take it all, because that's kind of like you're getting them convenience, right? An easy buyout, an easy way to do it, and you're going to get the scraps, which is like, okay, if you're trying to shoot for those 30 to $40 flips. Not like the $100 flips. The $100 flips might be there, but you're looking at volume. You want to get volume as much as possible. Give them the baseline price, or if you really want to get technical, you can buy it on poundage, sort of like the bins. And I'll just copy the bins prices, if not get cheaper, for the Goodwill bins, right? So this is what I would do across the board, and it's super helpful on that side. Do on the smaller stuff, especially, I would not do consignment. I would not do consignment. This is especially important on the smaller stuff, because when you do consignments, like we're gonna build this into our app simulator. Like consignment, there's so much back end legwork that you have to do, and it's pretty tedious and kind of a headache. Like you have to SKU all items, then track when sold. If you have a date on this consignment stuff, if you do consignment, I would have a 3-month sell through, dropping 10% each time. And then after those 3 months, I would then houses as in ours, houses product. You do this because like some things are super long tail and it costs you more to hold, or you can charge them for storage. I was also charging for storage as well. What's really kind of a nice little hack and how you guys can make a little more money on is if you do cleanouts or you do estate sales along these lines, offer a storage solution, and it just becomes free money. It's pretty crazy. So we have clients right now that pay me $250 a month to store in a $150 storage. They just want convenience, and we're dealing with high-end clients, so you can take this $100 profit each month, and just cash flows super. It's just cash flows super nicely. Some just kind of extra fun stuff you can do. And then this is just like pure cash flow. And this like our clients are probably going to stay there for the next 20 years. So times 100 by, what is that? I'll probably make 12,000 extra just for letting it sit somewhere. Super nice, easy cash. This is what I would do with the buyouts. Or if you're going to go into those estates, kind of what Shub was saying as well. Apologize about that. All good grumpy reseller. That's funny though. So this is what I would do with the accessories and the jackets and the shirts. Make a price that works best for you. You can always try it out, right? So if you say like, hey, I paid too much for this, lower it next time. I would rather go low. Going low, obviously, if you go garage sales and estate sales, stuff like that, going low first works the best, and then you can then jump up in actual cost, because it's hard to go back down when you go up. It's almost impossible to go back down, actually. They're gonna get mad. Oh, why you don't like this item? Blah blah blah. Start low. You can give 50 cents for. I would say 50 cents for shirts. Like one estate, this guy had Brooks Brothers shirts, probably sold for about $20 a pop, but there was hundreds and hundreds of them. Like we just had to donate them all because no one would take them. Like we couldn't give them away fast enough. Stuff like that. It's like all this stuff works really well. Again, accessories are gonna find your biggest bang for your buck. You can even dive into like jewelry as well. That's for estates. This all works pretty well. But yeah, this is how I would break it down right here. Some cool stuff. Let me think what else I can do. The buyout becomes a little more difficult. You need to have the owner. It's like this you can automate. So again, our whole goal is to automate as much as possible, right? Let's say it's $1. Our whole goal is automate everything as much as possible. So you as the owner, we want to get you out of the equation as much as possible. That's why doing the full buyout, you either have to train somebody that knows what they're doing and doing a buyout, or you have to give them these blank prices. You can even say, box it up. I'll pay these prices. That works really well. So you can say, hey, box it up. I'll get it after sale and then pay Also, you don't want to pay them if they're going to shoot for cash. You don't want to pay them cash. You want to pay them unless it's a bargaining tool. Unless you can get it down cheaper, you want to pay them electronically because then you can deduct it off your taxes electronically. You can deduct off taxes. On the box it up method works pretty good. We've seen a lot of people do pretty well with that. And who keeps texting me? Buddy's checking my PayPal credit. Side note about PayPal credit. PayPal credit works pretty good if you guys ever need cash. It's hard money. It's kind of expensive. It's like 12%, but well worth it. Cool. Yeah. So again, try to get yourself out of the equation. You can do the first couple of tests, but I would say I like the dollar method pretty well because then it kind of takes you out of the equation. Then it becomes Shelby with this. It's like how many of these estate companies can you find doing the same thing, right? So then it becomes okay. I'm going to find, and we'll go through how to find these estate sale companies and how to reach out to them. Then it becomes like you can start breaking down the numbers. Again, everything goes back to numbers. You can start breaking down the numbers. Let's say per estate from estate sales. Oh, you guys can do this. Also, this is kind of cool. So you can go to for estates, go to appraisers, Shelby, as well. Look for appraisers. Say, hey, I'm a clothing buyer. I'm a clothing reseller. I do X amounts with this kind of stuff. I'm very knowledgeable. I'm more than happy to come to more than happy to come and help appraise items for you. Even though you're not an appraiser, they're going to take your word for it. You're going to sort through this stuff. And this is where you can get pre-picked items at scale from these like appraising companies, which is super, super helpful. Like, hey, like I'm a clothing reseller. I have a lot of knowledge in clothing side. I've sold a lot of clothing, blah, 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 blah. I'm more than happy to help you appraise your clothing because these guys don't care. They're looking for a dollar amount. They're going to charge on the back end of you coming in. So whatever amount you do, so you spend $5 there, I would say get it for free and then say, I'll buy the clothing from you. They're gonna charge their clients on the back end as well. So super, super unique. We've seen this as well. This one's very, very powerful, especially jewelry. Won't be able to do, but the accessories and the clothing, it's a very, very easy way to go into estates, go to appraising companies. Cool. Okay, now we're gonna go into reach out. We're gonna see how we're gonna do it. This is where I recommend a VA. Our team can't do it right now because we're just slammed, but I recommend getting a VA off of PH or Upwork or something along those lines, or find it cheap in the US to do it. You want them to start building out a documented list. You want to start them bringing out a documented list. Sheets. Okay. I call them it's like a first name. This is why this is pretty like time consuming, but it's super useful. Information. Cool. So what you need to do is have somebody run through estates. And I would, if you're going to do the box method, let's just take Shelby's example for this one thing. If you're going to do the box method, you can even have it shipped around the country. This is when you become like multi-state, and this is where you can start getting a lot of product. I recommend doing in your state first and then going out of the state. Try to test it locally because you're going to be hands-on, but then you can start really scaling this out at scale. And again, the whole thing is to take you out of the equation and then build something that can scale relatively fast. And that means using none of your business owner time to do this. So what we're going to do, let's just do estates. Let me see Arizona for a second because I know Arizona pretty well. Damn, Goodwill is on a state sale company. It's funny. Okay, so you're going to go down and find all of these estate sale companies. I like finding the newer the ones. There's a couple of different ways. You can do it this way. You can go also to Craigslist. You're going to go to garage sale in Craigslist, Arizona, and also if you guys do garage selling as well, this is the best way to do garage selling, in my opinion. Is going to statesale.net. So it's just basically doing research and then hitting these guys up. You can even go in person. I would say going in person does build the connection a little faster because people get DMs all the time. Let's see if this is going to load. Might not load. But we wanted to do, it's Tuesday. So what I always do is I would just type in estate sale, kind of what you're going to do, garage sale, estate sale. Go to the estate sale, and you can also do Facebook Marketplace as well. Go to these estate sales, and then just be like, go into them and say, hey, I'll pick up the rest of your items for X amount, yada yada yada, and go from there. So, like, so I put this on my map. Okay, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is a unique one. You want to go for the high. Again, so the whole concept of this thing as well is you want to go for high end. Any kind of these 4Ds. Think where spending is. So spending. So what is it called? It's called like excess spending. That's not the correct word. Excess spending. So this basically means rich people, right? So you want to go for the richest of the rich people. I've seen people we did estates for and downsizes with, like these rich people got rid of like a $4,000 cabinet one time. And that's like resale prices, $4,000. They just gave it away. They just gave it away. These guys are giving stuff away because they have no, especially like people that didn't make it, they have no concept of money either way. So these rich people become very, very super helpful for us. You can just pick up a lot of product from them at scale. Also, I would say definitely, Shelby, on this side, go to organizers. I love organizers. It's an untapped market no one's talking about. It's because no one understands this market that well. So what I'm doing right here is I'm gonna look through. I'm just gonna start grabbing all the contact information from these people. This is why a VA becomes helpful. I would record this, put it for a VA, and they're gonna start grabbing the information. Also, realtors works really well. Realtors, I would say realtors, estate sales, organizers are my 3 top picks for this kind of thing. So contact information. You can put the messaging in here as well. Look, downsizing, relocation, all this stuff, estate liquidation, yada, 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 yada. Try to find their contact information. If not, here, you can get a phone number. Huntington Beach, California. Okay, that's fine. Jeremy K, how are you marketing yourself to these estate companies as a liquidation company or yeah, Jeremy. So 100%, you can say you're a liquidation company or a resale company. And again, you want to stick to the specific niche that you're in on these guys. You want to become the best. Again, we're talking about Shelby. Says Shelby, sorry if I'm using third person or talking about you. But we say, okay, I am Shelby. I'm gonna say I am the best clothing reseller in my area. It might be true, it might not be true. Who knows, right? Again, fake it till you make it. No one's gonna know the difference, right? I'm gonna go to these guys. Hey, I'm the best reseller. I'm the best clothing reseller. I can help you guys move this product. I'm happy to buy this. I'm happy to buy all your leftover clothing from you, or the beginning of the sale. They probably won't do the beginning of the sale because like they want the clientele to come in. But, hey, I'm the best clothing reseller. I'm gonna pick up all clothing. That's all I want is clothing and accessories. Let me know. Here you go. Right. Start doing physical reach out. There's some other stuff you can do as well. Going to yeah. So I see I'm gonna grab all this contact information. Let me just do this real fast. Extra information. I'll do phone number as well. That's phone number. So Instagram DMs work as well. DMs. I'm gonna gather all this information from these guys and just do company was numbers. This one right here. Email J Smith at. You can look up on their also their LinkedIn works. I just start collecting all this information. Again, this is more of a ground game, and then I would start tracking when their sales are. I see when our sales. You can meet them in person. A lot of these people are pretty old school, so they're gonna want to see some met in person as well. So yeah, no worries, definitely. Yeah. So when is the next sale? You can go to the next sale. Introduce yourself to the owner or one of the top dogs there. You're just gonna be the owner. A lot of these, you can't scale reselling. You can't scale estate sale companies. It's actually relatively almost impossible. Too much land, too much labor to do it. So that's why there's no big players. There's people that are doing like auction based estate sales. That's the only way you can actually scale it out because you hold too much product too long. But yeah, so I'll just go down this, grab all this information, start cold calling, so reach out to people. You can do like a templatize and a VA to templatize stuff. That'll work really well. Okay, cool. On to the next one. Okay, so there is like going to the main reach out. There's also ads. Ads work pretty well, especially in these spaces. You can do Google AdWords, not the best for this, but you can do like YouTube ads, works really well. You can do YouTube ads, Facebook/YouTube. That works really well. This is a bigger in-depth conversation, the YouTube ads. But also, what else can you do? I love the box method. If you become the biggest reseller on that side, you can just start hitting these guys up like the box method. Have everybody place in box. You can even send them a shipping label. Shipping label. This is why I really like clothing, because it's very stackable. You can then send a shipping label, give them to weigh it. They're more than happy to do this, and then just pay them on the spot. Like you can, I would even say get every estate sale company in the valley, if not United States, and just said, hey, I buy this, I'll send you a box or get your own box, yada yada, and then you start buying it at scale. Again, you want to buy as much product as possible. Give them these dollar amounts. They'll be filling these boxes up like crazy. Even if you can get them cheaper than this, like 50 cents a shoe. Again, it's gonna be the end of it. You might get a lot of junk, but you get some stuff that will add up and be very nice. Cool. So also you want to go for these lower end estate sales. These are where you can really like, if you find a newbie, you can take their, you can really crush them pretty quickly. It's like Angels and Attic. I would say Estate Liquidator, Sunsets, Kathy's. Who did I just crush? Milton Estates. Yeah, these guys are fantastic. These guys have no idea what they're doing. You can kind of see of how they price everything. Like so, in Arizona, Ace Estates is gonna be the best in my opinion, other than how we were. These guys are probably second best, and the rest I have no idea who they are. I've cleaned Milton before. Like this, like the people that have no idea what they're doing are gonna be the easiest to just like leverage. So I would just go down and make sure you know these guys. You can go to their website and you can see on their state ads if they have any tags on it. That means they're pretty well prepared. If not, you can just go through and just make a killing off it. So I'll start grabbing these information as much as possible. Also with this, again, look at what's around the estate sale company. Again, what I talk about is downsizing companies. And also let me show you. Downsize company works as well. You can also go to like a realtor meetups, or realtors in general. They have huge amount of clients that when they downsize, they need to get rid of products. So downsize, I would say it becomes realtors or downsize / organizers. You guys can go to these guys, go to realtor meetups. This is the best way, is like meeting these people. See if you can talk in front of them as well. Get up high bid. Let me check it out. You can go into online auctions. Now there's a lot of these, Paul, like these like bidding platforms for antiques, collectibles, and estates. There's high bid. There's like what Max Sold. There is like some like local ones. They're all kind of the same. You can arbitrage this stuff pretty easily. You can just scrape this or just have somebody go down and start pricing these. Similar concept to how Shop Goodwill does, right? Like you can buy some cool stuff. But again, so whenever stuff's out and like so auction based, so how again we're basing off, again, remember how we talked about last time, traffic. So traffic is going to be king. So whenever auctions, you're not going to get the most value out of it because they already have a lot of traffic to it. That's the reason why we're arbitraging online from local, is because this online traffic or this online platforms, you get more traffic. Even if it's just straight junk, you're getting more traffic than before. So your margins are going to become a lot slimmer when you do some auction based. Doing my own high bid. I think I'm gonna do my own high bid. So so Paul, with this kind of stuff, you're talking about building your own auction platform out, correct? You can just use other people's for the time being until you build your own out. That'd be fine. Like you can do live auctioneers, all these other ones. But again, auctions are the only way you can actually scale estates. You can't do in person. It just becomes too difficult to do in person estates at scale because there's too much holding a product, too much. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so this is like live auctioneer as well. Same concept across the board. Yeah, you can do it, but you have to drive traffic to it, right? That's the biggest thing. These guys already have a bunch of traffic. That's why they charge you that percentage rate. But you're more than happy to do it. Cool. realtor meetups. To do realtor meetups, just ask a realtor. I know in Arizona we have thousands of them. Meetup groups. There's also like presentations and stuff too. This is how I found my organizers. Organizers again are the best. Organizer. Still cannot spell organizers. Organizers Arizona. Happy Home Organizers. Dispensable Divas. Arizona Chaos Organized. I would just reach out to all these people. These guys have Dream Closet LLC. Like this is just right perfect. The Tidy Cottage. Like these guys get so much product. They're literally downsizers. One of the 40s. They're not anything else. They're literally downsizers. So these guys are really easy. Again, just start reaching out to them, call them, email them, do Facebook ads, reach out as well. Also with
quickly, one thing I'm going to add in here, Sid, it's Ty. The one thing what we've found was like a lot of the realtors, they have their information online. So you can actually just like go grab a list of them, email them all in bulk, right? Like you have to probably email them 2-3 times, but you can do a bulk email also. If you just have to search around for realtors, like I think Allstate just has like all the realtors listed online, all their email addresses in one place.
You want to go for a real brokerage, so like a real estate brokerage. These real estate brokers, kind of what I was talking about. These real estate brokers are gonna have all of their basically one. What is it called? Launch Arizona. These guys are gonna have all of their brokers on here. If you go to my brokerage as well, they're gonna have everybody's emails, everybody's contact information. Find a brokerage, you can go down and start grabbing them. Find the biggest brokerages across the board. So like you go to agents. Find it. They're just all sitting here. Just click on their name. It's gonna be their full name, their email address, and their phone number most likely. Here's actually a little slow right now. All these tabs. Yeah, just go down this stuff. You can start grabbing these guys, and here we are. Exactly. Message me, phone number, across the board. I think message me is even gonna pull up. Just pull up. Yes, you can go email address. You can start calling these guys. These guys are more than happy to, because they're trying like, and they realtors cannot take a percentage base of what you guys take or what you guys make on it. So you can do it under the table, but that's a big no-no. But yeah, so they can't take any percentage base. These are just basically relationship builds. You guys have to build out. Works pretty well. Organize again. Just go through lists. Find who has, again, the concept is who has your items. If you're doing clothing would be estates, organizers, source, builders. Stores, and then start reaching out to these guys. Going in person and work the best at first, so you get the hang of it. See how these guys, how they talk, how they want be like, how they communicates and all that stuff, and where they go. You start going after them that way. You can also go and see finding new realtors that are affiliates or Instagram influencers that do real estate as well. If I have a lot of people that are going to follow them, you can obviously do a post with them. That'll work out as well. Again, however you can be seen doing it is the most important thing. Cool. Now I'll just do like a basic one. Hey. Some of your clients. Nice clothing. Actually, I just come with like whenever you do these kind of reach out, I always think I'm a buyer. A couple clothing center. basic like this, reach out to these people. You can give them a call. Calling works. Calling the real estate agents especially, they're going to answer almost all phone calls because they have to in their phone. Organizers as well. Estate companies most likely emails. Consignment stores emails. They might answer some phone calls. Something basic like this. If you do it as again, it's a numbers game. Do it as many times as you possibly can to get these as many people as you possibly can. For this as well, you want to go if you're going to do a method like this, the box method, I would say even go nationally across the board. Hey, fill up this box. I'll prepay the label for you, and then I'll prepay the label for you, and then just ship it out to me and I'll pay you for it. Right? Once you get it going, and once you can get enough clients, it's just gonna be so much inflow of product. Again, like we talked about last time, is you want to as the owner of a resale business, you want to do one thing, and you only want to do one thing only: sourcing. You want to be able to do it at scale. Sourcing at scale, right? This needs to be your main focus. As a reseller, this should be our only thing we should be focusing on. Everything else should be outsourced, or delegated across the board, 100% time, every time. Should we chat? Okay, Paul, being a real estate broker myself, if you go to your local board of realtors and ask them for a sponsoring meetup, usually lunch, 100%. That's a great thing, Paul. So what Paul's saying is like, there's a realtor meetup, and you can sponsor a lunch. It's a couple $100 usually. You can get in front of a bunch of people. These guys are going to need a lot of product. Deem not sellable. Haley says, do you donate anything you deem not sellable? We have a ton of pickups when everything was shut down. We hosted garage sales and then just donated everything. Yeah. So Haley, good question, right? So again, as we know as a resale, it's all based on brand and model. This is why the local game is so powerful. If I was doing it, I would start cross-listing to Facebook Marketplace. I would photo everything, get them up online, or to start putting them to your local marketplace and then drive traffic that way. Because your local marketplace, you're gonna be able to sell your non-branded clothing, kind of the cheap stuff, or do a garage sale or something that's local, right? Because when people start online, they're looking for a specific thing. They're looking for a specific thing to buy. But if you do like a local kind of saying this garage sale, you can just get as much product as you possibly can and just get it out the door. And again, I love that method so much because you can get stuff that is not sellable online, move it out the door. So Haley, next question. Yeah. So first, everybody that you get this stuff, first try to sell it locally. If that is a garage sale or warehouse. So, actually Resale Rabbit does this pretty dang good. I like what he does with this is he does $1 a day, right? Everything's $1, move your product, right? Especially if you're getting this stuff for 50 cents. Let's say you're getting a shirt for 50 cents, 25 cents, whatever it may be, whatever dollar amount it may be. Y'all can decide that. Have $1 a day, a $2 a day, everything's $1, right? Get all your stuff, try to clear it out. If somebody offers you 25 cents, take it. Get rid of it. Take the good stuff and put it up online. That's where you make the most of your money. But this localized stuff is a huge attraction. You can pull, oh my God. Some of these estate sales, we were pulling tons of money out of it, and it was all local too. People just wander through so there's two different things. There's online shopping where people are kind of looking for a specific look, or they kind of know what they're looking for, or they're going to search around, see what looks like unique or something along those lines. But until they touch it, feel it, they're not going to have that. You want to have that, reactionary buy. That's what the local does pretty well. That's what Goodwill does really well. It's a local buy. So if you look at Goodwill, they have two types of buyers, only two types of buyers, in my opinion. Let's call it 3 types of buyers, but your main ones are your resellers. Resellers are probably the majority of their money. Then they have somebody that likes to go in and shop, shop. These are kind of like the impulse buyers. So the shopping people are kind of the impulse buyers. And then your very seldom people are gonna go in there for like a costume slash specific item, which might not be there, right? So this is, again, if you can, as a reseller, because since you're already a reseller, you can put this online, right? You want to put this online. And then you want to get this garage sale, kind of what Haley was saying with this garage sale, estate sale, warehouse sale, whatever it may be, dollar day, whatever it may be. This is where you get those impulse buyers, right? People go through these estate sales and pick up a bunch of rubbish. You can see, like, we had this estate sale one time that was like all tchotchkes, thousands and thousands of tchotchkes, right? But thousands of tchotchkes, if you sell 1,000 items, like that's $1,000 in your pocket. It becomes very, very profitable, very, very quickly, especially if you already made your money on other stuff, like works really well. Everything else, donate it. High recommended, donate something that actually is a good cause. Like whatever you guys, homeless shelter, whatever it may be, go to thrift stores and donate that way, because they're going to have this impulse buyers. And then they're going to dump it off after that. Excellent comment, Haley. Thank you. Cool. Yep. So again, it kind of goes think about how that how we talked about it last week with that supply chain, right? So consumer. So the consumer is going to be that estate / the downsizer helping that downsizing person. The consumer is going to go to us resellers. We're going to put the top cheddar online, and then we want to do a dollar day or whatever it may be. Like get those impulse buyers, clear some of the items out, and then donate it, right? Same concept that everything else goes to, and these donations are going to go to, if they don't get sold in the United States, they're going to go overseas, right? So donations, if they don't get sold in the USA, they go overseas, and the donations get bundled, sold overseas. Again, because why they do that is because they can sell bulk to there, and then it just had the dollar amount goes down cheap enough. Because every time that, kind of an interesting concept that we can talk about as well. Every time that everything goes down here, there's a labor cost to be involved. So the consumer going to the downsizer, the consumer eats the downsizer's cost, which is fine, which is good for us resellers. Resellers have to put it up online, which takes a cost. So that's photoing, that's our own time. Again, we want to outsource as much as possible, delegate as much as possible. But if it's not your own time, it's somebody else's time, which you're paying for. Impulse buyers, you're going to have to set up for this, take some cash. Donations, if the donation shop can't sell it in the United States based on labor costs, 3, 4, 5, 10, whatever bucks maybe, they're going to bundle it up and sell it overseas where labor cost is less. They can then break it down and then do the same supply chain till then it gets burnt or it gets tossed away, which is pretty sad. But this is the basic supply chain. You can just follow it down each and every time. Cool. Any questions, guys, on this stuff? We have about 19 minutes left. I'm more than happy to answer any questions, or what do you guys want me to see me do? If that's doing more reach out, if that's doing more like concept-based stuff, if you guys want me to do like a where to find photographers or along those lines, just let me know. We can jump into those things as well. Text this guy back as fast. Okay. No questions?
Hi, Ty. I have a question.
Yep. What's up, Shelby?
Hey, okay, so you've been talking about the estate sales and stuff like that. And recently I lucked into getting at a yard sale. Somebody overheard me, saying that I was a reseller, and she was asking me if I was interested in buying like in bulk. And so I said, yeah, of course. And she introduced me to another man that was moving. And he said, he had a lot of clothes and shoes that he was wanting to get rid of because they have like another house somewhere. And so then we ended up connecting. And like you were talking about earlier, I ended up buying the whole lot of his inventory there. He had a small store, but most of it was like their personal collection. And like the week before that, I had just found somebody on eBay that reached out to me, like I said, with the bales of things. So I have like a huge overflow right now of inventory, which is really great and amazing, but I'm just kind of like not sure how to go about it. I'm getting through it as fast as I can, obviously, but my question really is, do you think that I should just put as much on as I can, like per day, or do you think I should just save it and stockpile it, to put maybe just 10 items per day, or just like go the whole way and put as much on this per day?
Question. What are you like? What's your goal, right? Like, I think that's a better question to ask. Is like, what are you trying to get to? Are you trying to get to like a revenue amount? Are you trying to get to a listing amount? Are you trying to just make more money? Are you trying to scale up your business? Kind of give me your goal you're trying to look for.
I mean, I guess a little bit of everything really. I mean, I don't want it to like overtake my life, I still want to treat it as my business though, but I just want to obviously make more income, more revenue. And I just didn't know if being consistent with like, 10 items per day, every day for the next 6 months or whatever, or, just doing as much as I can every day. And then, setting my phone down at the end of the day and then doing the same day, the day after, like what is the better, the way to do it for eBay? Like what do they, I guess the algorithm look at?
Yes.
I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, you are. So eBay's looking at two different things, right? Daily listings. So how many listings you're doing as much as possible, right? So and your store size, and then sell through on this stuff, right? So depending on how big you want your stores and how big you want the inventory coming in. So if you look at like daily refinement, he's doing about 200 units a day. 200 units a day he's pushing through, and he's doing about 40K a month, right? Margins are pretty thick. He's probably making 15K profit, like net. I'm guessing 15 net to like 20 net each month off this, with all labor costs and all this stuff. So if I was you, I'd say, okay, since you're trying to get a lot of product, you're doing clothing has the most amount of product out there, I'd do two different things, right? I would see where your bottleneck is. So I'll ask you a question. Where do you think your bottleneck is right now?
Well, I guess, still always the fact that I'm only one person, I can only get through so much during the day. So I want to get through as much as I can, but I don't want to like run out of stuff. But I also want to branch out and do some of the things that you've been talking about this week and last. But I feel like I can't do that until, I have a better revenue coming in, because, like my sales aren't as high as maybe last month. So I don't want to keep, going out and sourcing more items without making the revenue back fast enough.
Understand. 100%. I would say the one thing is like, I would start taking so since you're one person, right? I would start looking at how can you make this into a business, right? So right now I'd say more of it's a hustle or a self-employment. So basically you're building a job out for yourself, right? So I would say find how to get rid of and delegate tasks. The biggest thing is going to be a photographer, right? I would start looking for a photographer since you're getting all this product in. I would start looking for a photographer to start doing, start coming in. If it's daily, if it's once a week, it's twice a week, you can start them slow. You can do once a week, twice a week, whatever it may be, just to get some more product up. You can then start filling in the gaps as much as possible. I would say crush through the inventory. Because again, this is for everybody as well. Everything that's not on your store will not sell, right? Across the board. So I would first do the items. If you didn't pick through them already, I would sort items that you want online, because don't waste time or money on things that are not going to be good online. Sort items you want online. Make sure your process is down pat. I would start making sure this is me the time, Shelby. I feel like you're on like that growth curve where if you can have your processes set up, and then I would hire a photographer. If that's a high schooler / college kid, or it's a friend that can move, that's looking for things, and I would pay $1 per item, make sure they can move fast, $1 per item, and I'd say, okay, come in, be a photographer, $1 per item, hopefully make 20-25 bucks an hour, just move as fast as you possibly can, do good products, yada yada. And then I would say, okay, since I have a photographer in there, next is going to be shipping. You can even have I would say, get somebody else do shipping, or have the photographer do shipping for the time being, and then come in. And then all I would want you to do is just focus on sourcing. Focus on how to get as much product and as cheaply as possible, because that's that dollar amount as well.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if I want to hire a photographer just yet, but you said you should probably just crush the inventory, and just get it done so that you can go out there and source more instead of like holding on to it.
Correct. 100%. So even if you don't want to get a photographer right now, I would highly recommend just getting it all up online as fast as possible. Don't just do like like, cause you can there's so much items out there, guys, where you can source more. But that the bottleneck. So in terms of eBay in general, the biggest bottleneck is digitizing those items and putting them up online so someone can buy them, right? Once you can continuously getting those huge amounts, right? So like, if let's say you're doing 20 a day, Shelby, I would say, okay, how do I go from 20 a day? And then I would just try to get as much items up. I would say, let's get this inventory out. I would say get the inventory out, but think about how many you're doing a day or how many you're averaging. You can then average it over a month. Let's say at the end of the month, I would say I did 1,000 items, right? Over that month period. That becomes what? Oh, my math's gonna be bad. Like a couple, 10 a day? No, it's be 30 a day, 20, 25 a day. Let me just do the math. 1,000 times 30, 33 a day. So it means you're doing 33 a day, 33.33 a day. Okay. So with that, this is the number that you guys want to be getting up, is those daily average listings. This is where you're going to see your revenue increase, right? Increases your revenue. If you can get this up to, let's just base it on, because you're doing about the same thing as daily refinements. If you're going to do, let's just break the numbers down. If you're going to get to, let's say you try to get to 50 a day, this is going to equal X amount, right? Then if you get to 100 a day, it can equal X amount, whatever it may be. 150 a day is equal 200 a day is going to be whatever amount, right? So you see this with, like, especially clothing resellers, because there's so much volume and so much inventory. If you have a higher ASP, especially if you can do a creative sourcing method. So like there's a bunch of guys that we work with right now that are clients. They're doing kind of that similar method, is they're just getting product in. It's in the apparel section, and they're doing a few hundred a day, and you started seeing their revenue ramp up, right? You can even start diving down deeper into it and say, okay, I want to only focus on X, Y, and Z, or X product, or whatever it may be, whatever the thing is. So first and foremost, get it up online. Second is start tracking how many you're doing a day over that month period, and try to increase that day period. There's going to be at a certain point where you're going to have to get help, or because there's no other way to scale past a certain point. If that's what you're looking for. If not, you can keep it at that same amount, but just, again, get the product online as fast as possible. You can even do 5 a day after that. So once you get them all up online, you can do 5 a day. But there's so much product out there, guys. The biggest bottleneck is that digitizing the assets and putting them up online. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
100%. Yep. And then I would start even looking for how to source even better, right? Again, the biggest concept is if you can, it all comes from the buy. So the first world principle, what is it called? The first principle in terms of what is true. So like, what is true, right? This is kind of like a weird concept, but this is what I try to base everything off, is what is true. The truth becomes is you make money on the buy, not the sell. But you have to get that product up online to be able to sell, right? So you can start, so shall I say, get that stuff up as fast as possible, and then look at your numbers. Like, let's say, okay, I bought that guy's items out. It wasn't as good as I planned. How can I buy better, right? It all becomes this, how can I buy better? So if it's gonna be clothing, you can search for like ASP. So there's two different things you can look up for: average sale price, ASP is average sale price. So sell through, I call this velocity. Definitely spelled that wrong. We'll keep that way. Let's leave it like that. So sell through equals velocity ASP. So that's the something, and then in your margin. Those are the three things I look at when buying. Is I would say, okay, Shelby, let's say your average sale price has been $30. How can I get that price up? Maybe you go a little more higher end, right? Then again, it goes all back to the buy. If it's like, okay, I want to go a little bit higher end. How do I go higher end? I need to go after like the 1%, the 1%ers, right? So like in eBay, this is all I do on eBay, is I go for high average sell price, high sell through rate, and then margin, I do commission. So I have no dollar spent, right? You can definitely do commission. It becomes difficult again on the counting end, but maybe you can have something where we might be putting it in sooner or later. But so kind of an interesting concept as well. I'll dive down into. I got 8 minutes left, so if anybody has any questions, let me know. There's one in the chat I can tackle. I have to say I've been down for the last 3 weeks. Finally got up 13 PA. Was surprised. Yep. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, the listings are getting better and better and better on that side. And if you're doing about 20 a day, you're gonna have a full-time VA. We're trying to make sure everybody that's doing 20 a day plus gets staffed to full-time VA. At 20 to VA, $20, 20 units a day, we actually don't make money on that, but we're trying to look for like the best quality listings as possible with one VA with 20 items a day. But yeah, let me jump back to this. And Haley says, how do I get more pictures in a day? I finally got 13th VA. How more pictures a day? Clothing with measurement section. I can't get more than 10 an hour. I've hired and they do less. I pay $2 per item with photography, inventory, assignment, and listing notes. So Haley, with this, again, this is a concept for everybody as well. The biggest players in the game do not do any listing notes, right? Maybe they have like they just photo, like if there's any sort of blemish, unless it's a higher end item, I'd say leave it on the side. But all you want to do is photo, and you want to have a basic template across the board. Basic template, because the template, like what you have in the description, guys, does not help sell the product, right? It's all based on keyword SEO and item specs and below. Those are the only things that matter. Everybody's trying to put so much more effort into like giving descriptions when descriptions don't actually help sell the product. So I would say first focus down on how you can cut things out. It's the biggest thing. With clothing and measurements, I would recommend, that's the one thing I would recommend. Measurements get a little bit tough just because it helps to sell the rate and return rate as well. But I would say, okay, I'd pay $1 per item, and I would just say only I want you to do is photograph the item. That's all I want you to do. I don't want you to do anything else. Photograph the item, give it to us. We'll put it up online, right? Inventory assignment. I don't know what that is. I would just say baseline SKU system. Change the SKU per box, grab a new box, put it in. It shouldn't take long. Honestly, it should probably be, I think a pair of shoes takes me like 30 seconds, if not less. Maybe clothing is maybe a bit more, let's say a minute or two. Hopefully we should be getting about 20 left. Shelby, yes. Yes, it just got up today. It's super basic, to be honest, but we're adding more items in as much as possible. It just got up on the Android today. I will send you the link. Give me 1 second. My Facebook. I think I just posted it today. There we go. We're definitely adding a lot more into this, into the Android app. Open link in your tab. Google Play. Okay, cool. Cool. That's the Android. We're adding more stuff in the white for iOS and for Android in the near future. The white background should become better and better and better. We're switching up a little bit. Wasn't as good as we wanted to, but we should be pretty dang good by next week. I know everybody's been pushing for that. Let me jump back to the note section. Cool. Yes, everything goes based on two things: ASP, velocity at 4 minutes left, sell-through rate, and margin, right? So you're like, okay, I'm Shelby. I'm looking for a higher ASP because I want to spend a little less time on it. I would go for the higher end people, right? So again, who has disposable income? Go for those guys. The wealthier they are, the higher end products they're gonna have, the more likely to get rid of them and just get rid of them fast. I'd say I'd pay you X amount. They might want a commission-based structure. If it's high enough, I would say commission is fine. Like for me, I don't, anything under $500, I'm not going to commission-wise. It just takes so much time and effort to get it out. But then look for sell-through, right? You want to be, if you want to start looking, you can start being more picky in what you get up online, depending on what you like, what kind of items you're starting to buy. I would say your sell-through and velocity is super important. Get it. If you can find great items, price them great, they're going to move every time. So those are two things. Again, start looking at how one, cut down on listings, how much you have into listing. It just doesn't help sell. It just doesn't help the selling it. Again, baseline template, item specs, move it, get rid of it, right? People are going to buy it. They like it. Again, 98% of buyers on eBay are single time buyers looking for a specific item across the board, right? They're not going to come back to your store. That's why it's hard to become an eBay seller. You don't get that recurring traffic from the same people. That's why I do like the local game and online game a lot. And then I'm looking at margin and again, if you're buying ASP of $50 items for $1 and you're making $49 before shipping and fees, y'all are just going to crush it. You're making what, $40 per item across the board. It becomes very, very profitable, very, very fast. Let me do one thing and I'll kind of show you. You guys probably like, this guy's drawings are just awful. But when, let's say you're capital, let's call this cap. I'll just write it down as cap and your inventory. Inventory. What is it? Inventory. So so let's say you have, let's make this like a chart. Let's say you have $1,000, right? So let's say you have $1,000 right here. You have in capital, you have no inventory. So the issue becomes with hitting scale. So to scale really fast, you need to buy inventory very, very cheaply or do commission structure once you're at that range or you're spending like hundreds of thousands, because your capital decreases and your inventory is going to increase, right? And the bigger your store gets, I saw this dramatically when I was scaling eBay to Amazon. So you see like my growth on eBay to Amazon was going like this. Each time I had to replace my capital was getting diminished and I would buy instantly when we sold, but my inventory was increasing and my sales were increasing. So when inventory increases, and then let's call this sales on my keyboard, so it's hard to write. So your sales are going to increase. So this is kind of the same methodology that's going to happen every time. Your capital is going to decrease and your inventory is going to increase. With that increase in inventory, your sales are going to increase, right? So if you want higher sales, your capital is going to go down. So it becomes a point where you either have to do commission or you're used to buying it so cheap and your margins are so thick. If you're selling products and you're making 40 bucks a pop, your commission is so thick where you can withstand this capital. Like for me, I was doing like a 35% margin, right? Which is super small on Amazon products. And so this capital would drive down, all the inventory would spike up and the sales will spike up, right? Usually it's going to be a little bit more like your inventory is going to drive down, inventory is going to go up a bit, and your sales are going to increase even more because your inventory is getting sold out. But this is kind of a similar concept. So it all comes down on the buy. Again, the first, what is that? First principle. I think it's called first principle. You make money in the buy, you don't make money in the sell, or you make money on the gathering of inventory if you're doing commission based. Is how can you source better, not how can you sell better. But there's that bottleneck is when you source, let's call this sourcing. I got 1 minute less. Sourcing to when you list online and when it sells. The biggest thing is this is unlimited. So this space is unlimited, right? There's no constraint on the database that eBay has, right? But this is a bottleneck right here. Let me call it a little bottleneck. No. The bottleneck is going to be right here. So you're sourcing, you're pushing your products through a, so let's call it your sourcing. You have to push these products online to digitize. Let's call this digitizing. It's called digitizing, getting them through this little hole is called the bottleneck. Getting this through the bottleneck, you need to increase this bottleneck from either getting a photographer and then helping them move as much product as possibly can through here. So like you need to focus on the sourcing and then getting the listings up. So how can you minimize the time it takes listings? These are two things I'd be focusing on across the board. Is one, how to source better. Two, how to scale your listing process as big as and as fast as you possibly can, because that's going to really change the dynamic of your business just in general. Cool, guys. Hopefully that was helpful. I got 2 chats, and then what about financial side? What about the financial side of HAMMOQ? Bulk buys. Shelby, you want to be able to do kind of a mixture of both. So honestly, what's the question? What about the financial side of HAMMOQ? So Paul, you mean like giving financials as giving like loan base, or what are you talking about? Reports, 100%. Yeah, man. So what we're working on right now, making it even better and better and better. If on the accounting portion, we're trying to build out we got somebody full-time on that to keep building it out. Cool. And then Shelby, do you recommend sticking with bulk buys or spending time on and days sourcing at yard sales, etc.? So let me tackle this question real fast. So bulk buys, you're gonna get more product. With bulk buys, you're buying I would say a mixture of both, right? So you want to be able to buy differently. That's going to then give you the garage sale margins and doing it at bulk. You want garage sale margins and to buy at bulk. Those are the 2 things you need to be focusing on in sourcing, right? So sourcing at garage sales, the reason why it's so good is because the consumer they just want the items out. So you're buying it so cheaply and you're finding these great finds where that's where the big money comes in hand. That's where the higher ASP and the higher velocity comes. When you're doing these mass bulk buys from like a distribution or a logistics company that everybody else has access to, your supply goes up, but the sale price and velocity go down because they're already getting picked through. These guys are doing like these big liquidation companies and bulk companies are getting products from usually from a third party that's already been picked through. Usually a lot of the times it's thrift stores, right? So that's why figuring out a sourcing method that you can get high margins and you can get scale with bulk buys, that is the key to growth. That's the reason why I'm so harping on buying, and it's the key to everything, is if you can do that and you can get high margin doing again, it has to be, you have to think differently. The biggest thing is think differently. How can I source differently than everybody else? How can I source differently than everybody else to get that huge margin on top? To then have my ASP go through the roof, have my velocity go through the roof, and have my supply go through the roof, and my net margin go through the roof. That's what, again, sourcing is a pure key. Like Shelby, if you're doing 25, let's say you're doing 50 daily, make it easy, but you're buying bulk and it's through a different method that you have a $40 ASP, you're buying the products for $1 and they have a high fast through sell rate, you can easily top 6 figures net doing it by yourself, right? Again, I'll go through 1 second with like how I do it, trusts and estates. So with trust and estates, I'm sourcing differently that no one else can get their paws on before I can, right? I'm doing a commission structure, which is fine, but like with 2 estates, I can net 6 figures easily because I'm focused on sourcing and I list 20 products, but my average sell price is massive. My velocity is massive. I do 10-day auctions, and my net margin is massive because I have no actual fixed costs, and I just have the margin I make on the commission. So it's 100% net. I don't actually net. It's 100% net. I don't actually have a gross margin. It's pure cash. Okay. Hopefully that was helpful, guys. We'll do something similar next week. Hopefully that was helpful. Let me know in email or along those lines what you guys want to see across the board, and have a great start to the week. Definitely. Catch y'all.